there, Rambler fans, and welcome to this week's edition of the Rambler Sports Locker. My name is Bridget Murphy.
And I'm Grace Runkle. Here at the Locker, we've all caught the hockey bug, so please excuse any strange behavior from any of our staff members today.
Hockey! I'm sorry. It's that darn hockey bug. It is so infectious. And I'm just really excited to for the season to get started, and for this episode to get started.
Are you going to be okay?
Yes, I will be fine.
Okay then. While hockey might be the order of the day, let's start on the hardwood. New women's basketball head coach Cheryl Swoops held her first practice as leader of the Ramblers this past Tuesday, September 30th. This year's squad has some big shoes to fill, as last year's team finished second in the Horizon League with a 17-15 record. Notable players returning to the team include All-Horizon League players junior Simone Law and sophomore Taylor Johnson. Law has led the team in scoring and rebounding for the past 2 seasons, and Johnson was an outstanding force on both sides of the ball. Of the practice, Swoops said, "It feels great to get started on the season and get the team in gym for practice. We have a lot of work ahead of us to get ready for the season, but I think this group is up for the task." Their season begins on November 9th at the Women's Preseason National Invitational Tournament, where they'll square off against last year's NCAA runner-up, Louisville.
Men's basketball players Christian Thomas and Milton Doyle got some preseason love from College Sports Magazine and Sporting News last Wednesday, September 25th. Thomas, who is a junior, received 4th team All-MVC honors, and Doyle, a redshirt freshman, was named Preseason Freshman of the Year. Last year, Thomas started all 31 games, averaging 15.2 points and 7.5 rebounds a game. He ended the season with 7 double-doubles. Doyle is a Chicago native who sat out last year after transferring from the University of Kansas. The Ramblers will look to these 2 players to lead the team after the graduation of impact players Jordan Hicks and Ben Avercamp.
The basketball teams aren't the only ones gearing up for another jam-packed Midnight Madness. Anna Buchanan visited a cheer team practice to learn more about their preparations.
During every home basketball game, the cheer team is there to promote a spirited atmosphere on the sidelines and during their halftime performances. 3 times a week, the cheer team meets in Gentile to practice new routines and to perfect each new stunt. Senior captain Jordan Templin is starting off her final year with the program. The cheer team has just completed its fall tryouts, and Templin says she is excited to work with her team.
It's been a really great year so far. So we picked up a few new people at our fall tryouts. So we have 12 members on the team now. So it's just we've had our first few practices, so we're just getting a really good team dynamic down.
Loyola students can also spot the team at other events, such as pep rallies and alumni events. The next big event is Midnight Madness, coming up on October 18th.
Midnight Madness is really cool because we collaborate with the dance team, women's basketball, and men's basketball. And so we all come together and kind of do a fun routine to get the crowd going, and just excited about basketball season.
While tumbling, jumping, and stunting, the team will be lively and energetic to create an exciting atmosphere. So come to Midnight Madness to support the girls as they celebrate the start of the basketball season.
Really excited for the season, and I think both of our teams are going to come out really strong.
For the Rambler Sports Locker, I'm Anna Buchanan.
Templin and the rest of the team should have a lot to cheer for this year, as Midnight Madness will once again feature 3-point shootouts and a dunk contest.
The men's golf team finished 7th at the 2-day John Dalio Memorial over the weekend. Junior Nick Dennis finished with Loyola's top score of .226 and tied for 10th place, which makes his 3rd top 10 finish in the last 5 events this fall. Freshman Garrett Marshkey recovered from a poor opening round on Saturday to end with a 2 under 70 and eventually tied for 17th by the end of the tournament. The Ramblers will have a break until October 14th and 15th when they head to Ohio to play in the Flyer Invitational. Turns out the hockey bug has been around for longer than we thought. Introducing us to one of Wayne Gretzky's heroes and a female player who set herself apart from the rest, let's turn to Leah Bakuyuk for some insight into this week's sports history.
It was on October 2nd, 10 years ago, that Shannon Zabados began her career in high-level men's hockey. At 16, she was the first woman to play in the Canadian Junior Hockey A-League, the first in the history of the Alberta Junior League for the Sherwood Park Crusaders, and the first in the Western Hockey League. While other female players are a flash in the pan, Zabados is an inferno. Unlike the others, she played regularly for 3 seasons, plus 2 more in other cities, and became one of the league's leading stars. Her commitment took her into men's hockey, the highest levels of women's sport in Canada, and to a starring role in the 2010 women's Olympic team that won the gold medal. Zebedos is currently 27 years old, but if she retired tomorrow, she would deserve a place in the Hockey Hall of Fame because her calling card is skill and not gender. On October 3rd in 1997, Gordie Howe, also known as Mr. Hockey, became the only professional player in hockey history to compete in 6 consecutive decades. At 18, he signed with the Detroit Red Wings and went on to win 4 Stanley Cups. At the age of 43, he retired from the Wings and was inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame a year later in 1972. However, he signed with the Houston Aeros the following year so he could play alongside his sons until 1977 when all 3 joined the New England Whalers. Howe played in his 6th decade with the Detroit Vipers in the Hockey International League and almost 70 years old. He ranks second in NHL history with 801 goals and tailed 1,850 points. Howe also coined the Gordie Howe hat trick, which consists of a goal, an assist, and a fight. His commitment, skill, and love for the sport made Mr. Hockey an idol to all. And that's it for this week in sports history.
Wow, when I'm 70, I'm going to be lucky if I can still walk. Thanks, Leah.
No problem.
Loyola's Hoyne-Field is a host to a number of athletic teams. Both men's and women's Division I soccer teams, as well as the softball team, call it their home. However, as Benjamin Shankin found out, those teams are not the only ones to play at Hoyne-Field.
They call themselves the Loyola Hobos. They're the school's men's club lacrosse team.
Our official name is the Loyola Hobos. Centered around the old Rambler logo, we replaced the hobo sack with a lacrosse stick, and the Hobos were born.
This past Monday, they played an opening scrimmage against crosstown rival DePaul Blue Demons. Loyola plays in the Great Lakes League Lacrosse League, Chicago Division, which pits them against schools in Illinois, Wisconsin, and Michigan.
DePaul is actually a league above us in MCLA. It goes in the clubs. It goes MCLA 1, MCLA 2, and then GLL is an independent league we're in.
Though DePaul plays in a more competitive lacrosse division, Loyola kept up with them for much of the game. In fact, the Hobos were able to hold onto the lead for most of the game. But in the second half, the Blue Demons scored 3 times to give DePaul a 4-3 victory. Freshman Eric Brooks scored twice for the Ramblers in the loss.
So we got some conditioning to still do, but it's nice to see that we do have a goaltender who was incredible. We're excited about that. And our defense looked really strong. Our offense could do some work. It's the first game of the year. We obviously got a lot of work to do in practice, but I was happy with what we did tonight.
While this was Loyola's only scheduled home game this fall, the team is attempting to schedule another home tilt later this month. A few of the local clubs the Hobos play include University of Chicago, Lake Forest College, and Western Illinois. The Hobos will play a doubleheader at Northwestern on November 2nd, and league play starts once the weather warms up again in the spring.
Lacrosse is not very big in the Midwest, so for all you young kids watching the Rambler Sports Locker out there, I know there's a lot of them, get a stick in your hand and play this great game. It's a nice and violent way to have fun.
For the Rambler Sports Locker, I'm Benjamin Shankin.
While the Blue Demons escape from the Hobos this time, Loyola will get 2 more opportunities to get some revenge against DePaul this fall. The 2 teams will play on October 27th at Robert Morris College, and then again on November 2nd at Northwestern as part of the doubleheader.
The women's volleyball team swept Evansville in straight sets Friday, earning their 2nd straight Missouri Valley Conference win. The team then lost 3-1 against Southern Illinois on Saturday with a team total of 35 hitting errors. However, it's not all bad news for the Ramblers. Freshman Morgan Reardon racked up 19 kills, matching a career high she set just a day earlier. Sophomore Emily Carr rounded the night out with 10 kills, while junior Libby Bresser managed 6 kills and 3 blocks. The good news continued for Reardon on Monday when she was named Missouri Valley Freshman of the Week for the 3rd time this season.
Women's soccer kicked off their pair of weekend matches with a 2-1 victory over Indiana State for their first ever win in the Missouri Valley Conference. Both goals were scored in the second half, the first by junior Valerie Gagno and the winning goal by senior Maggie Olson. They couldn't make it 2 straight wins on Sunday, but the team still held their own in a double overtime scoreless draw against the Green Bay Phoenix. The Ramblers will play another Missouri Valley Conference game against Illinois State at Loyola Soccer Park this Friday at 7. Football, soccer, I guess there's only 2 names for the sport. So much for a catchy way to introduce the MVC top 3. Here's Joaquin Carrig.
Good evening, everybody. Tonight we discussed the top 3 men's soccer programs in the MVC in anticipation for the conference openers this weekend. Unfortunately, Loyola is currently at the bottom of the standings with a 3-4 record, so they didn't quite make it into the top 3. Here's hoping that that'll change. Okay, let's start with number 3, the Bulldogs of Drake University. Though they currently sit at 4th place in the standings, an extra tie is all that separates them from the 2 second-place teams. The Bulldogs' last loss came almost a month ago. The pinnacle of their current 4-game win streak was a thrilling victory against the 14th-ranked New Mexico Lobos in Albuquerque. Ball possession was dominated by the Lobos, who outshot the Bulldogs 13-4. However, not a single shot went in for them. Strong defense paid off. In the 88th minute, senior Addison Eck of Drake broke the tie. The Bulldogs defeated a ranked opponent for the first time since 2009. An 0-3 start, including a bad loss to Tulsa, a top 25 team, prevents them from being higher up in this top 3. Numero dos, the Braves of Bradley University. The early season schedule for second-place Bradley has certainly been impressive. The Braves faced 3 top 10 teams, including the number 1 ranked team at the time, Connecticut, number 6 Cal State Northridge, and number 3 Northwestern. What's even more impressive is that they beat both Connecticut and Northwestern. The UConn victory was particularly remarkable. Since 2009, the Huskies had been unbeaten at home for 39 straight games. Another historical tidbit, the 1-0 victory marked only the 2nd time ever that a Bradley sports team defeated the number 1 team in the nation. Expect the Braves to be a top contender in conference play. And the number 1 men's soccer team is the Ferocious Purple Aces of Evansville. Okay, maybe Ferocious isn't part of their official name, but they might want to add that, just saying. All kidding aside, the Purple Aces are in the first place with a 6-2 and 1 record. With 19 goals in their first 9 games, it's clear that there will be no shortage of scoring. And don't let their strong record lead you to think they had an easy early season schedule. The Purple Aces faced 2 top 25 opponents, St. Louis and Butler. They handed the 16th-ranked Bulldogs their only loss of the season with a commanding 3-1 victory. Sophomore standout Mark Gonzalez netted one of his team-leading 6 goals to secure the win. A strong schedule combined with an equally strong record to match has put Evansville on the national map. They have received 4 votes to be in the top 25 in the most recent coaches poll. The Magenta Aces are my favorite to win the MVC conference this year. Back to you guys.
Purple Aces, Joaquin. Purple Aces. It's not that hard. Wow, moving out of the horizon was no joke. Loyola's in for some competition in the Missouri Valley. The Ramblers will open up conference play this weekend against Missouri State.
3 seems to be the magic number this week. The Blackhawks started their pursuit of a 3rd Stanley Cup in the past 5 seasons this week with, wait for it, a 3-goal 3rd period in a 6-4 victory over the Washington Capitals.
Hockey!
There's no denying the excitement in Chicago for the season ahead, but before it could start, the NHL did a little bit of housekeeping. Ariana Slater is here to explain why the Ramblers weren't the only athletes in Chicago dealing with a little conference realignment.
That's right, Grace. The NHL gave its conference an interesting makeover this offseason. The 80-year regular season rivalry between the Hawks and the Detroit Red Wings will be no more. The Wings have moved to the Eastern Conference, leaving the Blackhawks as the last original 6 team in the West. The NHL said geographical reasons prompted all the team swapping, but some of us know the real reason. You can run, but you can't hide, Detroit. See you in the postseason. The league downsized their conference from 3 divisions to 2. The Hawks will remain in the Central Division in the West, and they're not the only team that stuck around. The St. Louis Blues figure to give the Hawks a run for their money atop the division. They were ousted in the first round of the playoffs for the 2nd straight year, but depending on who you ask, the story may end a little differently this time. EA Sports NHL 2014 predicts that the Blues will take home the Lord Stanley this season. The Nashville Predators also stayed put, but they're probably not too excited about that. They tallied 3 wins in 18 division games last season. The Preds could be looking at a repeat performance if their stars can't provide some consistent offense. Now let's meet some of the new neighbors. The Minnesota Wilds got thrilled by the Hawks in the first round this playoffs last year, so I'm sure they're thrilled about their 5 matchups they have coming up. Zach Parise, Brian Sutter, and their $200 million price tag will have their work cut out for them. The Colorado Avalanche will roll into the Central with a little bit too excitement. The team is in rebuilding mode and has no defense to speak of. First overall draft pick, Nate McKinnon, will see a lot of time a lot of early ice time, which might lead the Avs to getting their #1 pick this year. The Dallas Stars and the Winnipeg Jets will also join the fun. The Stars overhauled their front office after missing the playoffs and acquired rising star Tyler Seguin from the Boston Bruins. The Jets have a strong defense anchored by former Hawk and fan of favorite Dustin Byfuglien, but a lack of offense firepower kept them from the playoffs. Both teams still have some serious goalie problems. These two should get comfortable in the division's basement because they'll likely be down there with the Avalanche for a while.
Oh, they may as well just move back in with their parents then. Thanks, Ari. Well, obviously, the hockey fever is coming in hot, but let's not forget about some of the NFL teams that are currently on fire. Speaking of forgetting things, somehow Chicago baseball has found its way back into the news. What is happening with the Cubs? Julian Schwartz, Chris Lehman, and Audrey Bailey are covering all the bases and yard lines in this week's edition of the Weekly Ramble.
Hey guys, welcome to this week's edition of the Rambler Sports Locker. I am Jillian Schwartz, and this is the Brendan Mabon Memorial Podium. I am here.
Look at that beautiful podium.
It's finally crafted. I am here today with Audrey Bailey's Irish Cream and Chris Lehman. All right, let's get started.
Lehman.
So we have the NFL keeping it interesting. We have 5 teams right now that are going undefeated. What do we have? Patriots, Broncos, Chiefs, Saints, Seahawks, and the Minnesota Vikings. I think were also one of them. So, who's gonna have the longest streak? We're gonna do ladies first. Chris.
Oh, I see what she did there because she implied that I'm okay, cool.
Apparently I'm a man.
Well, here's what we're going to do. She saved the best for last. The Seattle Seahawks are going to go undefeated the longest. Here's why. Normally, I would say I would go with the Denver Broncos. Peyton Manning's on fire. But you look at the Seahawks, they're a much more balanced team. You know, they have, in my opinion, the best defense in the game. Richard Sherman is the best cornerback. They have Marshawn Lynch, beast mode with the Skittles on him. You can't stop him. And they're a decent passing team, but they have the defense. You look at who they've played. They've already beat the Niners. They've already beat the Texans. And you look at other teams, and in my opinion, the next best bet would be the Broncos. But the only ones that they've beat, they've played 3 NFC East teams as well. They played the Raiders as well as 2 NFC East teams, and
All trash.
and the Ravens, who just aren't as good as people think they are anymore. So, I mean, I just got to go with the Seahawks in this one.
All right. Well, what do you think,
Well,
Audrey?
I think I'm going to go with the Broncos here. I mean, they look unstoppable right now. You have Peyton Manning. He's looking so comfortable in the pocket right now. He has receivers like Wes Welker he can pass to. And then can we mention the defense? Outstanding. They're not letting any passes happen. They're not letting any runs happen. And they're rushing the quarterback. I think this team, the Broncos, is who you got to look out for.
I would just like to point out that as of now, the Broncos are allowing more passing yards per game than any other team.
But they're not letting any runs.
Hey, you guys only get one turn at this. It's my turn. Okay. I choose. All right. The only thing is, Chris, you're just like, I feel like you just couldn't get your words out. You're not feeling as confident as you should be in your team. I don't know. And a big thing is the offensive. I got the offense, so going with
Audrey. Whoa! Yeah! Oh my gosh.
All right.
Take that.
Okay. Wow.
Carrying on. Well, the Cubs don't give us a whole lot to talk about in the news, but they have made themselves certainly prominent this week. The Cubs manager, Dale, what's his face? Swaim.
It's a hard name to pronounce.
Was it a good idea to get rid of him? Bad idea? I think it's good enough just because you can't even say his last name. But win my heart, Audrey, what do you think?
You know, I think it was a bad decision. You know, the Cubs have been sucking for over a century, let's be honest.
Wow.
It's the truth. It's the truth. But I think firing him is just kind of a scapegoat for a bigger underlying problem. I mean, you have a ton of new guys on the Cubs that just didn't perform. They didn't live up to the hype. And then you had a bunch of veterans like head pitchers, and you had Soriano leave. I think the team is kind of in shambles, so I don't think he should have been fired yet. I think they should have let him continue.
All right, here's what I'm going to take what you said. The team is in shambles, and that's kind of for a reason. The Cubs have been historically bad forever, but they're the worst that they've ever been. 2 years ago, they finished with the 3rd lowest winning percentage in franchise history at 37%. And I mean, that's just, it's okay to rebuild, but you're not really rebuilding when you're the third worst that your team's ever been in over 100 years. That's not rebuilding. So, I mean, I think now you get rid of the guy so you can bring in maybe a Cal Ripken or someone like that, and you can have, a real manager as your team manager. Maybe win some games.
Shoot, guys, that's true. I don't know. The Cubs have been pretty bad for a pretty long time, so I say out with the old, in with the new. Chris.
Whatever.
He's on the board. All right. So finally, there have been some pretty good celebrations in the history of sports. So I want to know, who do you guys think has the best after a great play celebration? Chris.
It's not even about thinking. When you're talking about touchdown celebrations, there's only one, the man, Deion Primetime Sanders. He invented it. It's his thing. He's got the shuffle going that no one else does. You see players now still doing his little Deion Primetime shuffle. That's the greatest celebration. He does that the stuff not only after he scores, but he does it. He high steps from the 30-yard line with defenders closing in on him because he's clocked in an unofficial sub 4-second 40-meter dash, and he knows that they cannot catch him. So he high steps when the defenders are still chasing him. He knows he's got it. Celebrating is all about the confidence, the swag, and no one brings it better than primetime.
It's true.
That was,
oh man,
that was a great argument. Well, good thing it's not just about touchdowns. I'm going to go with a little bit unconventional. I'm going to go with Mike Iaconelli. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Mike Iaconelli, but here is a clip of him actually going into the water. Professional fisherman going in the water to catch his fish. Look at that. Yeah, he knows he just did that. So I'm going to go with Mike Iaconelli, and his celebration actually happened in 2003. It was his first Bassmaster win. And well, just take a look at this clip and decide for yourself.
Never give up! Never give up!
He committed so hard.
Yep, pretty terrifying, right? But those little inspirational words he had at the end, never give up. I mean, that's what sports is about. Never give up. You want that big fish. Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness. I can't believe I haven't seen that until now.
I know.
Okay.
Goes down in the history books.
Going at the beginning, Chris, you had me good, but I just have to say, it was those 3 words, never give up.
Never give up.
I think that's something you
how
need
I
to
live
live
my
by.
life. Gosh.
Need to live by. All right.
Apparently I gave up.
Yeah, you gave up hard.
Now, Audrey's going to be doing her own Sally because she's got the win. And we are going to be
a celebration dance.
Yeah, give it to Mom.
Aww.
It's beautiful. So touching. All right, well, we're going to celebrate right into fall break, and we'll see you next time on the Rambler Sports Locker. Back to you guys.
Well, that will do it for this week's episode of the Rambler Sports Locker. Be sure to go online and like our Facebook page and follow us on Twitter and Instagram using the handles you see below. Until next time, I'm Bridget Murphy.
And I'm Grace Runkle. Thanks for stopping by the locker, and don't forget to turn out the lights.